Hello there. This is my name is Eric. This is Mr. L. Magnuson, and there's a man behind a bag here. So what's your name, sir?
Uh, excuse me. I'm just making a preemptory signal of my deep humiliation to be a fan of this baseball team, sir.
Sir, I just got my season tickets, and now you're just trying to depress me.
Yes.
Why are you dismissing my investment already? Well, I guess we have to go through the prediction, this preview something, anyways, because people they have something to look forward to. We will get you through this.
Seems hard to imagine, but let's get started. We can even tell Lars is not terribly impressed with this team so far.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
And he witnessed them firsthand in Fort Myers.
Well, that's right. We both did our due diligence in Florida, didn't we? We both were down there looking at little snippets of the team, and now that the 25-man roster is starting to be put together now, maybe we should talk about that.
Let's do it.
Okay. So, what do you think of it?
I think it's pretty putrid.
Oh, well,
very disappointing. I think some of the pitching deals that came through early, a signing of Nolasco, Hughes, and then of Mike Pelfrey. They're the kind of signings that at the time I will admit I didn't have any problem with them individually, but then when you combine them into the whole, and you realize that later in the offseason you could have made strong plays at a guy like Garza, a guy like Ubaldo Jimenez. It gets a little bit more challenging to see why the big rush was. I think they could have signed Nolasco. I'm fine with signing Nolasco. You got to get someone right under contract right away with the pitching staff the way it was. Didn't see the rush to sign Pelfrey as necessary, and Hughes. I'm interested to see how he does. I think he's a good candidate for bounce back, but I think the real indictment has to be on the failure to upgrade the offense.
Offense. Well, so you don't buy that rationale that they have prospects like Sano and Buxton coming up. So why would you sign a guy like Mr. Stephen Drew for $10 million a year when you already have offense coming up?
Well, Stephen Drew, it does not play the position of Sano. He doesn't play the position of Buxton. Right now, he would be blocking all of Pedro Floriman, who my position on the record is that you can live with Pedro Floriman as a shortstop, but not when your offense is this bad already. And Eduardo Escobar and Gardy's favorite now, Danny Santana.
Santana.
I don't see a huge, an irresistible force coming that direction at shortstop. But you just really look at the inability to sign an impact bat, and now when you're looking at a starting catcher of Kurt Suzuki, who hasn't even been passable at the plate since 2010, and you're replacing Mauer's offense there with Kurt Suzuki, it just is hard to see how this offense is going to produce at anything of a respectable level.
Well, this lineup. May I ask, are you saying this lineup kind of brings you back to the days of Rich Becker in center field? And
yes, I think there's a. I don't know if I would say that our first baseman hits like Scott Stahoviak. I know that some people on Talk Bikes would think that he does.
Are we going to be crying for Ron Coomer back at third
base?
But
you will see the shirt, sir. Can you get a view of that on the camera?
That's good.
That is why I will be going to visit the park this year.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you. Of what it looks like right now, sitting here on March the 26th. Who do you see as the who do you take north with you? There's one spot. It looks like it's right now between Colabello, Parmalee, and Jason Bartlett, who Gardy is suddenly his favorite little toy is Jason Bartlett. Who do you take north?
Well, you take right now I would really think that they should have taken like a third catcher myself, because then you could put Pinto in there in the DH
Why not
spot.
just keep 2 catchers and then allow Pinto to DH? And if he gets hurt, then you move Pinto to catcher.
Mm-hmm.
Your DH,
Goes
allowing
away.
the pitcher to hit is hardly worse than allowing Jason Kubel to hit at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And then you call up a catcher the next day, and you have no problem. I've always been a little bit puzzled, bewildered by Gardy's insistence for 3 catchers.
Mm-hmm.
But so with those, but just between the 3 now, who do you take?
Well, you would try to take the ones with the position flexibility now, right? So
you take Barty, as Gardy would call him?
well, Barty says he can sling it, but he can't swing it. So I think I would take between Parmalee and Colabello. I think you would take Parmalee, right? Because he could play at least you could play first and outfield. Colabello, you don't. His bat's kind of slow for major league pitching. So
I must, sir. I guess the way I would put it is that I have a very, very, very mild fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
Colabello.
I think here's the way I look at it.
He's like Mr. Marsh.
You're gonna have a guy at DH in Jason Kubel who couldn't hit lefties to save his life. You have a guy out in right in Arcia who has struggled against lefties. You are going to need days when there are tough lefties, when you need someone in the lineup, and being able to put Colabello there at DH. He backs up Mauer nicely at first. He's a right-handed complement there. He's certainly a lumbering idiot in the outfield, but you've already got one of those in Josh Willingham. Why not put another one out there in right field on some days? I just think you need a right-handed bat off the bench. And if your bench really consists of Pinto, Bartlett, Escobar, and Alex Presley, I just have a really hard time seeing this. And you know what? If we're really that concerned about getting Barty on the roster, send Alex Presley. You're not going to miss him, and this team has no problem coming up with fourth outfielder types. So if you're just that obsessed with keeping Barty, then that's got to be it. Oh, he seems to be looking for your companionship there. What's going on, Lars? You got any thoughts? Yeah, it's going to be that bad.
He's petrified by the Twins offense already. So you're grading this offseason very low then, because outside of the pitching,
I would give it. I would probably give it a C- type, because this team was going to be a bad team. I think even if you sign Steven Drew, even if you sign Nelson Cruz, even if you sign another big bat. So in that sense, it's certainly not the end of the world. And I like I said, individually, not looking at the whole, these pitching moves aren't bad. But when you look at the whole, I think it's going to be another depressing year. Then you add Sano's, Tommy John, you add some of the other reasons. Alex Meyer hopefully gets up here sooner rather than later. There's just got to be, we just got to find some reasons why you'd want to go to Target Field to watch other than a beautiful night for baseball. But I'm not seeing a whole lot beyond that at this point.
Well, let's see that.
You think so, buddy?
Yeah, it makes a lot of people want to do what's a criteria.
Yeah, that's pretty true. That's pretty true.
But I'll just say on the offensive side, last year the team scored around 615 runs, right?
Yep.
I'm thinking they'll score marginally more than that this year, maybe 650 runs.
Well, for that to happen, what you have to do is Dozier's going to have to come somewhat close to replicating last year. I think that's possible. I don't know if he'll have quite as much. I don't know if he'll hit 17 homers again. You're going to need Plouffe to make a step. Plouffe's never been able to consistently put up numbers. He'll have hot streaks here and there. Is Florimon going to hit any better? That's a real question mark. Is Willingham looks completely done this spring? Is that going to be what's team? Is Hicks going to make a jump? Can Arcia stop striking out 33% of the time? You just have so many question marks, and so it's not impossible to me that there would be an improvement if things break right. But on the other hand, if things break wrong, are you going to score 550 runs this year? I mean, really, I look at this team and I say, man, if things just go a hair trigger wrong,
Yeah.
this is going to be one of the worst Twins teams, perhaps the worst Twins team in our lifetime.
In our lifetime.
Well, sir, you have a little more lifetime than I do. Let's just be fair.
A couple of years ago, they lost 99 games. Are you predicting the three-digit loss column?
I think.
We'll get to that. Yes, we'll get to that.
I can confidently tell you it will be the worst Twins team in this young man's lifetime.
Yeah.
It will also be the best Twins team in this young man's lifetime. But
that works first. Well, I'm just saying that when I went to the game. I went to a game in Bradenton actually, and Vince Worley was pitching, and that was actually the famous Winkern game where he.
No, those breezes, man, those Yankee Clippers just really mess with your cut fastball.
I tell you,
brutal.
It didn't seem any windier than it would be on a April day at Target Field, but that's beside the point. So,
are you getting hungry, young man? Are you getting hungry?
Yeah.
Say bye. Say bye.
Bye.
All right. Here you go. Here. Hand off to mommy.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
Here we go. So, but I'm thinking on offense that there'll be 600 yards more runs because I think Dozier's going to keep on progressing. I think he'll get around 20 home runs this year. I'm hopeful. Mauer being at first base, I think his power numbers will actually
give me an over under. Give me an over under on home runs, and I'll tell you whether I've got the over or the under.
18 for Joe Mauer.
I'm gonna take the under.
You're gonna take the under. I think he'll be hitting. He'll have over 20 home runs this year.
Well, there we go. Let's see. This will be a good handshake prediction. I just don't see a swing as being conducive to it. I think with that field at that Target Field year. I was there for a number of the games. He's hitting a lot of them into the first few rows in left center field, and that's just not an area that you hit it out to at Target Field. I wouldn't be surprised to see him hit 15. I just don't see him as a 20 home run hitter.
Yeah, well,
I'm also a little bit concerned about the big increase in strikeouts last year, and he's been striking out a fair amount in spring training here. So I'm going to be interested to see what his legs are going to be like over there at first.
I hate to put this question out there, but do you think the idea of a married life has something to do with it?
Weak legs.
He does have a bilateral leg weakness in the past, but I'm saying that not being behind the plate may help him out. Because he doesn't have to think about being a catcher.
Yeah, no, I do think he had to do it. I think that's pretty clear. He had to do it, and but we'll go from there.
Yeah, and then I also think that Arcia will continue to develop. He will not be missing so many pitches by 3 feet as he was last year.
You would certainly hope so. What do you think? Do you think there's any chance he doesn't end up on the 25-man roster? Do you think any of the rumors that are going around that they might send him down to keep Parmelee, give Parmelee one more chance, or have any legs to them?
There's not much legs behind Parmelee, is there?
Who's going to take him? I think he clears waivers. Maybe some team grabs him. I don't think he lasts on a major league team the whole year.
No.
But what do I know?
What do I know? Well, we know what our predictions are generally been better than the Dick and Bert's.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Good. Well, do you have anything else to say about the offense other than say it's very putrid? And is there any hope?
Of course there's hope. There's hope every spring. I think the hope is that Willingham
do you think
hits more like 2011 than he did or 2012 than he did 2013.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think I don't think he hits 30 plus jacks again, but if he hits 25 and hits 240, if Kubel can regain some, I just these things that I'm saying are just, I find them as very I see it as south of 50% in terms of probability. I would love to see Plouffe make a big step because if Sano's back healthy next year, you at least have another asset, whether you're looking to trade him or Plouffe's athletic enough to go out to a corner outfield spot. So that would be great. I'm really rooting for him to make a big step. I'll be interested to see how Pinto does. I hope, a couple months in, he's getting the majority of the starts, and Suzuki can go back to being what he is, a backup.
A backup.
And I'm sure we're never going to tire of hearing his veteran leadership praised, and how much those pitchers just love throwing to him.
Well. Okay. Well.
So yeah, that's there's always hope, but just
so what would your prime lineup be? Since you seem not to be so keen on Suzuki as a top 3 hitter.
Oh, if he's a top 3 hitter, just Katie bar the door. I mean, why even show up to the ballpark if Artie's going to put a guy who's not going to OBP 300 and give him the second most at bats on the team? Shut the door.
Well, stats do say that when he hits number 2, that's when his best offensive numbers generally.
Is that about 50 at bats, Mr. Wong? I think statisticians, analysts like yourself, would call something about small sample size.
Well, it's a small sample size, but we want to know until he has more reps, right?
Yeah. I'm not willing to make that exercise. I think, to be honest, you take a look at Hicks early in the year. I think you see if he looks like he's not soiling himself up there and he's having competent at bats. I think he's a decent candidate for a leadoff spot. If not, I think you have to go Dozier. I think in a perfect world, Hicks can rebound to a 330 or 340 on base percentage this year, and you bat him lead off.
Mm-hmm.
You bat Dozier second. You bat Mauer. Another option, honestly, would be to bat Mauer second and bat Dozier third.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know what, if we're going to make this exciting, why not bat Hicks lead off, Mauer second, Dozier third, Arcia fourth, Willingham fifth, Kubel sixth, Plouffe seventh. Though I think certainly there are days the way he hits left-handers.
Yeah.
Put him up batting third.
Yeah.
Put him up batting second. I mean, that's just crazy move against right-handers. I can see batting him seventh. Then you got to have Suzuki eighth, and you got Florimon or Escobar ninth.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be actually shocked to see Escobar make a little bit of a push for the job. I think that'll be one of the interesting things to watch.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's been playing well in spring training, but
and you just don't, to be honest, you just don't have. It's not like there are guys knocking on the door in AAA.
Yeah.
I mean, unless Buxton just blows up AA, and you say, okay, let's start figuring out a way to get him up here.
Mm-hmm.
There's just not a lot of hope right now in the offense, and that's a depressing thing.
Rosario 50-game suspension did not infuse any more hope, did it?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
But it seems like you should be going down to Cedar Rapids to see some of the pitching down there.
That pitching staff should be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, but
you also got to watch it at wherever Alex Meyer is. I haven't heard yet whether it's going to be AA or AAA.
Mm-hmm.
But you need him. You need him to move fast. You don't have a lot of impact starting arms, and he's one of the few that can miss bats.
Okay. All right. Well, what do you say about the predictions for a win total this year?
I recently published a projection.
This is an endorsement for his own post. So
it was just on a forum that I've been known to frequent.
Mm-hmm.
That prediction was 49 and 113.
49 and 113.
So
they will threaten the all-time loss record.
What were the 62 Mets? Weren't they 34 and something, or what was
the was 120 was the number, the top, was it around
in the recent era?
Yeah, 120.
Yeah, I could see that being that would maybe be the pessimistic view. I don't. I think. But also, do I rule out them winning in the 50 games? I don't at all, and that's.
Well,
I also don't. I also can't say I ruled them out in the high 60s.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly, right now, the type of things that I think you're looking at happening, if they get to the mid 70s, I think what you got to see happening is you got to see someone like Alex Meyer coming up and really making a big impact on the major league level.
Mm-hmm.
You maybe see someone like Buxton coming up midsummer and really making a Mike Trout-esque impact. You see Mauer having a big year at first. You see either Willingham or Kubel showing there's something left in the tank. Pinto jumping in at catcher. I mean, I just think there are a lot of things that would have to happen, and I don't see those all as very likely.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready to put your money where your mouth is?
Unlike Bagman here, I'm more of an optimist, and I generally will. I think we will see in the mid-70s with this team. Yes, Bagman does not agree with me, but
Sir, I will say I hope you're right. We can all cheer for the Twins team this year.
I base that on that I think the pitching will be somewhat decent this year, and that will improve the bullpen because you will not be seeing so much Anthony Swarzak this year. I'm
going to win a lot of 3-2 games is what you're projecting?
I'm thinking so, and I'm thinking that with the marginal increase in offensive output, that they'll be able to get between up 5 to 10 more wins just by the pitching and that alone. So that'd be around 72 to 77 wins, I think.
72 to 77. Well,
yeah,
I gotta say, here's the big question: if they do truly go 49 and 112, does 49 and 113? Does Ron Gardenhire survive into next year to work out his contract extension?
Well, Molitor is in the dugout now, right? Is this? Do you think he is?
You know, Scotty Alger's the next in line for the job.
I'm not so sure. I am not so sure.
You know that.
Do you think Alger would want to take the job?
Of course.
With this type of roster,
I don't know if he'd have another job in the major leagues in baseball. So I'm sure you would take this like a drowning man would take a life jacket.
But what do you think the fans like you would be buying into that? That these get excited for Skull Alder? I think the poll ads do take that.
I could see Steinbach, to be honest, being another candidate. I just don't know. I don't know if Molitor would be Terry Ryan's first choice.
Okay. Well,
I think the last thing we've got to get to, we got to put on the record some picks to click.
Picks to click.
And some picks to fall flat on their faces.
Yeah, that's true. I think that Phil Hughes, when I saw him down in Fort Myers, he looked, not in Fort Myers. I saw him up in Bradenton, and I think he looked pretty good.
Yeah.
So he was actually dominating hitters down there.
Okay.
So
there we go.
I think he'll win between 12 to 15 games.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
My pick to click on the staff, I think, is Kyle Gibson. I think I don't think he's going to have quite the impact that some fans, DJ Skills, have hoped that he would have.
Mm-hmm.
I love you, Dustin. But I think that he'll pitch to maybe in the low fours. In an ERA, maybe low to mid fours, give you some innings, and he'll be one of the few guys that can actually quasi overpower some hitters with stuff, and I think that'll be something to be exciting. I know, I'm pretty sure that I will be looking for the days Kyle Gibson is pitching, either Kyle Gibson or Phil Hughes when I'm choosing to go to a game, and I can also tell you I'll be watching quite closely for the days when Kevin hit it to North Korea is pitching to avoid those days.
Avoid those days. Well, you could send the outfield those days and get your son a home run ball.
That is no doubt true.
That's true.
What about the hitters?
The hitters to click. I'm thinking that again, Joe Mauer hit over 20 home runs this year. And
there it is.
And he'll be. He may not make the All-Star game because he plays at first base, but he'll hit about 320, 330, 320, and he'll hit about 20 home runs and about 80 RBIs.
Well, there we go.
There you go.
That is a bold projection.
Yeah, I believe in the $23 million man.
The $23
million
wow.
first baseman. But what do you think? Is that?
It may not shock you to hear me say this, but I'm not sure I see a pick to click offensively this year.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I I really don't. I think there's some guys that can be solid. I would look for a guy like Trevor Plouffe to make a small jump. I don't think he's ever going to be the kind of 25, 30
Do
home
you
run
think
guy that
he'll?
we'd like.
Are you looking for him to have one of those 3 week stretches he had a couple years ago? Where he
Yeah,
does
that would be nice.
that
That would be
be,
nice. I wouldn't be shocked to see him hit 20. I think Arcia is going to be a pretty solid hitter. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it this year. I think he's still striking out way too much. I'm interested to see Hicks, whether he can. So I mean, on all these things, I think there are some interesting things to look at and to kind of hope for. But really, picks to click. I mean, I might just have to reach down and grab Byron Buxton to say when he shows up in September this year, he's going to be a exciting player to watch.
I did see Byron hit a home run in spring training, but then I also saw him miss a fly ball in the same game. So he is a young pup. But
yeah, we also have to be careful that if you get him up too early, the Gardy tire marks on the bus might permanently damage him. I don't know.
Weren't you a supporter of Gardy way back in the last year?
Oh, I'm still a supporter of Gardy.
I
don't hate the man. I think, but as I've gone on record saying, I think I don't think he deserved to be back this year, even though I think he's a better manager than many give him credit for, and I think he's a worse manager than others would give him credit for. I think he's somewhere in the middle.
Okay. All right.
Do you have a pick to? Do you have an unexpected pick not to click for both defense and offense?
Unexpected pick not to
click. Who's your pick not to click? I mean, there's plenty of picks not to click, but in terms of one that you think might kind of enlighten our many viewers.
I have to say this, and we may not see it that often according to you, but I think Glenn Perkins.
Is there a pick not to click?
It may not be clicking as much as
the big contract is going to go to his head.
Well, I saw him in spring training, and it was the first week. I'll say that, but he was only hitting 89, 90 on the gun, and the ball was a little in the meaty part of the plate. So he has not looked so good in spring training.
Well,
so
we'll see. Mine, I think I would probably have to go with Pelfrey. I think Pelfrey's going to be better than he was last year. I also think he's going to just really annoy people with still like similar things to last year, taking a long time between pitches, long games with him pitching, not great in the strike zone. I think his numbers at the end of the year will be okay. Mm-hmm. He'll pitch to an ERA in the mid-4s and give you some innings. But I don't see him making the big second year, post Tommy John jump that others are hoping.
Are you saying that will happen once he leaves the Twins, like Francisco Liriano?
Oh, I just don't think he's got the stuff to do that. I think he is what he is.
He is what he is. Well,
to coin a phrase. What about offensively?
Offensively, not the click. Well, I have to say that I think Jason Kubel is a prime candidate to be DFA by June, right?
That's certainly a possibility.
And others in the starting lineup that may not click so well is Aaron Hicks. Mm-hmm. We just don't know what he is. We see flashes, but then when you put him in a spot where you want him to excel, like lead off, he kind of falls right back again. So it looks like a double-A hitter again, and so we'll see. I think he'll be a competent hitter that you want to keep him up, especially considering the options they have. But he may not be the 330 on base percentage, 720 to 750 OPS player that we were looking for. So I think he may be more of a 650 this year. I don't know.
Well, I think I would like to disagree with you, but until he proves it, I think that's a valid point. Mine, you know how I feel about these things. I think Willingham's bat is slowing down significantly. Mm. The one I would actually say this year I think is going to disappoint is Pinto. Though I think they're putting him in a tough spot. You've got a guy who's really not played a ton past Double-A. You're bringing him up. He had a great spring. He had a great closing to the year last year. Everyone fell in love with the guy. And I think Guardy's not going to trust him a whole lot in the beginning of the year. I don't think he's going to DH him much.
Mm-hmm.
And I think playing 2-3 days, if that, a week is just going to be a hard thing. I think we're going to see some struggles out of him that is not going to be quite living up to the bat.
Well, he's been hurt. He's been hurt much of the off season, so he has not put in much training in.
Really wouldn't be a bad thing. Did we ever have a right-handed hitting catcher with some pop and some good defense and a strong arm? A young guy that might have been really good to place in this year. Didn't we trade him for a closer at one point?
Are you saying that? Are you saying that the Bill Smith era is still leaving marks in the organization?
I would definitely say there are stains, so to speak, on that. I think Wilson Ramos would be a pretty nice player to have at this point. As would J.J. Hardy.
Well, if Wilson is not,
as would Carlos Gomez.
As would Denard Span too.
I don't know if I go that far, but Ben Revere, I'm sure, will have a very good year.
Well, oh well. Well, that's it, folks. Our season preview. Hopefully you've been cheered up by this experience. If not, well, still get out there and enjoy the games.
We love you, folks.
Yep. Take care.